From an Arctic marine creature whose tusk was once thought to be a unicorn's horn, to an animal that has the longest known lifespan of any known vertebrate on the planet, here's our pick of the scariest Arctic animals. But before we get to the video, we'd like to thank Pat Light for his gracious comment on our most mysterious and unexplained sea creatures video. We appreciate all the love you're giving out, and it's great to hear that you're enjoying the content. Arctic wolf. Found across the Canadian Arctic archipelago, its naturally cold environment means that Arctic wolves and humans don't often cross paths. But the wolves have proven to be capable of being both unafraid and even aggressive towards us. Arctic explorer Otto Sverdrup wrote of a teammate being attacked by a pair of wolves during a North Pole expedition in the late 1800s. In the 1970s, two scientists went through a horrifying experience when a pack of 6 Arctic wolves approached them on Ellesmere Island. According to the story, a wolf attacked a scientist and grazed his cheek before the pair were able to escape. People running the weather station in Alert Nunavut have filed numerous reports of aggressive incidents with wolves living in close proximity. Narwhal. Human beings can do some really stupid things. Medieval Europeans believed that narwhal tusks were really horns from the legendary unicorn. This allowed traders from up north that knew better, like the Vikings, to come down and sell the items for many times their weight in gold. The tusk material would be used to make cups that were thought to negate any poison that may have been slipped into the drink within. Come on, really? That deserves a head shake and a palm slap to the forehead. Those distinctive tusks have made the narwhal a popular creature for hundreds of years. The tusk is actually an extra long tooth that shoots through the animal's upper lip and out of its head for several feet. For years, biologists didn't understand why the animals had evolved this protuberance. Earlier this year, drone footage provided the elusive answer. Turns out they used their extra long tooth to hit their Arctic cod prey, making them easier to eat. Arctic fox. When winter comes, the Arctic fox has a lot of hardships to deal with. This is a result of their favorite prey, rodents and birds, becoming scarce on the ground. Without anything to eat, the fox must follow the region's apex predator, the polar bear, and pick up the leftovers from their kills. The fox's coat also turns all white during the winter to better help them hide from those bears they're forced to follow around. The animals' bodies have evolved characteristics over time like furry soles and a short muzzle to help them survive in frigid conditions. Incredibly, they are able to withstand temperatures as low as negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit. There isn't too much that's scary about this small creature. They're actually rather cute and adorable, as you can see. They are, however, the main carrier of the Arctic rabies virus. Greenland Shark. In case you missed it during Shark Week, the Greenland shark is one of the largest living species of sharks. They grow up to 21 feet in length and weigh over 2,000 pounds on average. They're also absolutely terrifying creatures. They'll eat anything meaty. As a matter of fact, one was once found with an entire reindeer body in its stomach. They rush to the smell of rotting meat in the water. Plenty of fishers have witnessed Greenland sharks surrounding their boats while they're all alone in open waters. An ordeal that has to be nightmare-inducing. The shark's meat is also dangerous to consume, as it's highly toxic. Still, people in Iceland eat the shark meat as a delicacy after its toxin levels have been reduced. As you can see, there's plenty that's fascinating about the Greenland shark, and we still haven't even gotten to its lifespan. Greenland sharks don't fully mature until around the age of 150. A 2016 study that examined 28 individual Greenland sharks found that the oldest was at least 272 years old, but could have been over 500. Wolverine. As a Google search of the word will prove, a Wolverine has become more synonymous with the fictional superhero than the real-life animal. It's easy to see why Logan was nicknamed after this awesome Arctic animal. The Wolverine is a solitary being who is both ferocious and incredibly tough. They've been known to kill prey much larger than themselves and even as big as the gigantic polar bear. They're found throughout the Arctic regions of the world, mostly in northern Canada and Alaska. Like Hunky Hugh, the animals are muscular and stocky in build. At a distance, they could be mistaken for small bears. They have the dimensions of a medium-sized dog, being around 3 feet long and weighing up to 70 pounds. Snow goose. Geese may not appear very scary, but they can be pretty big jerks. If you get too close to one, especially when they're young or nearby, you're just asking to get attacked. Snow geese breed way up high in the Arctic region, but they also travel as far south as Mexico to escape the ridiculously cold northern winters. Their population is growing rapidly, another scary prospect. They've increased in numbers by more than 300% since the 70s. Snow geese are so numerous, in fact, they've started to destroy the tundra habitats where they nest. As a result, efforts to reduce their numbers started in the late 1990s. This entailed giving hunters more liberties with the birds. Despite longer hunting seasons and bigger bag limits, however, the snow geese population continues to grow at a 5% annual rate. Polar bear. Sailors received some unexpected visitors while they were surfaced in the submarine USS Honolulu 280 miles from the North Pole. 3 polar bears wandered up to the vessel, clearly wondering what the hell it was. They hung around for 2 hours before carrying on with their day. It must have been pretty awesome for the Honolulu's crew to get such an up-close look at the bears. Of course, if they hadn't been in their giant submarine, it could have been an absolutely terrifying ordeal. Polar bears are huge, even by bear standards, normally weighing at least 1,000 pounds. They don't mean humans any harm, they're far more interested in seals, which make up the majority of their diet. As if this particular polar bear surrounded by wild dogs didn't have enough to deal with, it also has to face the harsh reality that its habitat is rapidly melting away. The bears have also been hunted en masse for decades, though regulations and controls have led to rebounding populations in recent years. As scary as polar bears are, shouldn't they be more scared of us at this point? Moose. A rare moose, who appeared as though he had just wandered out of the Arctic ice, appeared in the town of Ida in western Sweden, as reported by the Washington Post. A man saw the creature and shot video, making the footage, which quickly went viral, some of the only ever recorded of a white moose. Out of the 400,000 or so moose that occupy Sweden, only around 100 are thought to be white, though none of them realize it. Some attain this fur color as a result of albinism, but most simply have a recessive gene that produces mostly white fur. Of course, moose aren't very scary in nature, but their size is caused some terrible and often fatal collisions with vehicles, prompting signs, like this one, to be put up on roads where moose are known to wander around. The trees surrounding this highway in Alaska have even been trimmed back so that motorists have a better chance of seeing an approaching moose before it's too late. If you're wondering why moose don't know their own fur color, it's because they're colorblind. They have poor eyesight in general, but make up for it with acute senses of hearing and smell. Musk Ox. Giant herd animals with hair that's grown long over time to help protect them from the cold. The musk ox is a potentially scary herd animal. They live in the frozen northern tundra, constantly in search of the roots that they consume for energy. When cornered and by themselves, they'll charge using their massive size and sharp horns with great and sometimes fatal effect to whatever's in their way, be it wild beast or human being. This didn't stop humans from hunting them in great numbers for both their meat and their valuable hides. Their population is thriving today, however, and protected herds roam from Alaska to Siberia. Jerr Falcons. Arctic hares have a tough time surviving thanks to 2 of their primary predators. On the ground, they have to deal with the aforementioned Arctic fox, who, even at a young age, can catch an adult hare with relative ease. They also have to worry about what's going on above them, because a Jerr Falcon could swoop in out of nowhere. After it plucks the unlucky creature off the ground, it glides to its nest on Ellesmere Island in Nunavut, where it uses the remains of the rabbit to build its nest. Out of all falcons, the Jerr Falcon is the biggest. On average, they have a wingspan of 51 inches, though females are stockier than males. As you can imagine, they don't have very many natural predators. The golden eagle will occasionally try to mess with them, but even in this face-off, the Jerr Falcon is a formidable opponent. Lion's mane jellyfish. Jellyfish are pretty weird, scary creatures. Stepping on one accidentally can produce an incredibly painful sting and ruin a day at the beach. It's a good thing the lion's mane jellyfish only lives in cold waters, because it's the largest known species of jellyfish, and uses stinging tentacles to pull in and eat, or attempt to eat, prey like fish, smaller jellyfish, or human body parts. One washed up on the Massachusetts Bay in 1870 that was 7.5 feet long and had tentacles that measured over 121 feet. Their range extends from the Arctic to the northern Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We hope you've enjoyed the video. Keep the comments coming. We'd love to hear from you guys, and look out for our newest video coming tomorrow. But before you leave, stick around for our last scary Arctic creature. Herman. When people wanted to introduce the ermine to New Zealand to control rabbits, there was a lot of skepticism. Scientists knew the ermine, or the stoat, to be one of the most troublesome, invasive species of animals on the planet. The warnings were ignored, and stoats began to be moved to New Zealand in the 1880s. Within 6 years, a noticeable decline in bird populations had occurred. The culprit was, of course, the new residents, ermine. They live on Siberian and Canadian Arctic islands, as well as places further down south. Irish mythology cast the stoat in a very bad light. They were viewed as thieving animals, whose saliva was rumored to be able to effectively poison a fully grown human being.